I'm Tommy Formosa.
And I'm Daniel Placencia.
This is a sports nutrition channel.
And our main topic today is caffeine.
Caffeine is a Ergogenic Aid, but more importantly, we have a special guest speaker on the show tonight.
His name is Michael Curry, and he is a sports scientist. So let's bring him out. Come, Michael Curry.
Come on down, Michael.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
So, is it okay if we ask you a couple questions?
That's
about,
fine.
caffeine?
Far away.
All right. So, what is the basic definition of caffeine?
That is a great question, Tommy. The basic definition of caffeine is a drug that stimulates the central nervous system in the body.
So now, Mr. Curry, I have a question for you. I've been reading, and I've heard that caffeine helps physically and mentally. Can you explain to us how that happens?
Great question. For the mental perspective of caffeine, when an athlete intakes caffeine into their body, they feel like they have enough energy in their body already from that caffeine supplement that they're like, oh, I have enough energy in my body, that means I'm going to perform well, and they have that mental mindset. So that's how they perform well at a high rate for mental caffeine. And for physical performances, I have evidence right here saying there is evidence that caffeine can improve physical performance. In a study or recreational athletes, the consumption of 6 milligrams body weight of caffeine, roughly 490 milligrams of caffeine for a 180-pound male athlete, or about 5 cups of coffee, significantly increases muscle endurance during brief, intense exercise.
All right, Michael. So, I understand that caffeine is a very popular Ergogenic Aid, and it can be found almost anywhere. But what types of exercise or activities could people use caffeine for?
Caffeine can be used in all sports, going from MMA to basketball to football to Major League Baseball, all sports really, and in any exercise. Right here I have more evidence stating that in short terms, research suggests that caffeine ingestion improves performance during short-term exercise lasting approximately 5 minutes at 90 to 100% of maximal oxygen uptake in the laboratory. What that means is that the shortest caffeine will last an athlete is 5 minutes, but the longest caffeine can last an athlete in its body in a healthy dosage is an hour and a half, and that's a pretty long time.
The whole game? That's a pretty long time.
That is a long time.
Thanks for stopping by on the show tonight, Michael. It's not every day that you get a intelligent sports nutritionist come on your TV show.
All right, thank you. It was a pleasure being here. Thank you, Mr. Placencia.
And now for his second guest, he is a sports nutritionist and a professional trader, Matthew Tufano. Please.
Come on down, Matthew.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show tonight.
So now, scientist Mr. Curry told us about the good things of the intake of caffeine. Are there any side effects that you know of that could come from caffeine consumption?
Well, yes, Danny. In large quantities of caffeine, it can lead to dehydration and, for female athletes, miscarriages and birth defects.
Wow. So, Matthew, I understand that caffeine is a very popular substance that is used in a lot of household beverages. As you can see, we have a wide variety of beverages that are known for having large amounts of caffeine in them. But to what extent does caffeine become illegal?
Athletes are allowed to have 12 grams of caffeine per milliliter of urine before it's considered illegal. But the NCAA has announced that the athletes are allowed 15 grams of caffeine per milliliter of urine before it's considered doping. So any more than 15 grams, then it's considered doping.
Interesting.
All right, for our last question of the night, what's your overall opinion on caffeine?
I think it's a great supplement. But for young kids under 12, I think that they shouldn't have caffeine in their system. I know it's hard since there's things like soda that have caffeine in them that young kids love, but for older athletes, as long as they follow the NCAA's rules, I think it's fine.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So, Danny, to conclude everything that they've been saying, the Ergogenic Aid caffeine stimulates the brain and causes athletes to mentally and physically feel and perform better.
Yes, but there are also side effects. Like for women, it could cause birth defects, and for athletes all around, it could cause dehydration. Now, one of them said that kids under 12 should not take high doses of caffeine because they're already full of energy and they're still growing, developing. And so I think that's a very important point to speak out to the parents and tell them about caffeine consumption.
This is good. A lot of young kids consume large amounts of caffeine today. To wrap things up, thanks for stopping by and watching us here at the Sports Nutrition Channel. Watch us next week. I'm Tom Formosa.
And I'm Daniel Placenta.